Alrighty, everyone, I want to say good morning to everybody and welcome to Inclusion Saskatchewan's 12th Annual Inclusion Breakfast. My name is Matt Young, host hit CTV News at 5 here in Saskatoon, and I first of all want to say it's great to be here, and most importantly, folks, I think it's really nice that we are all here in person. Let's give a hand for that. I want to thank you all for taking the time to be here this morning in support of Inclusion Saskatchewan's mission on behalf of people who have intellectual disabilities. We also have some notable guests here with us this morning at Prairieland Park. That includes Senator Brent Connor, Minister Paul Merriman, and Mayor Charlie Clark. And we have guests, yes, let's have a round of applause, absolutely. We have guests joining us from the live stream as well. We are live streaming this event from across the province, so we want to have a warm welcome to all of you, and we certainly have an amazing program for you this morning. To start off our event, folks, it's my pleasure to welcome the Lieutenant Governor of Saskatchewan, who will offer greetings on behalf of the Crown.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating in the 2022 Inclusion Breakfast. I'm speaking to you from Government House in Regina, which is in Treaty 4 territory and homeland of the Métis. I'm glad that you can meet face-to-face once again, even though my schedule will not allow me to be with you in person. I'm grateful to Inclusion Saskatchewan for offering a live streaming option for your members this year. Thank you for taking care to keep everyone safe. My wife Donna and I hope to gather with you in person next year. It is indeed a privilege to serve as honorary patron of Inclusion Saskatchewan, which has been providing crucial services in our province for over 65 years. To the Board of Directors and staff, thank you for the considerable compassion and commitment that drives you to help others. I am grateful to you for your honoring the legacy of this life-changing organization. I strongly support and applaud Inclusion Saskatchewan's mission to ensure that everyone feels valued, supported, and included. Everyone has something to contribute to their family and community, and diversity enriches all our lives. To those who receive services from Inclusion Saskatchewan, I want to thank you for making our world a better place, simply by being you. You are seen and valued, and we are grateful for your gifts and abilities. To the parents and grandparents, aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters, thank you for your loving support. As you well know, your role as caregivers can be demanding. If you feel the signs of stress and burnout, please take advantage of the supports provided by Inclusion Saskatchewan. You are not alone. And finally, I know this is a financially challenging time for individuals and nonprofit organizations. I want to thank the sponsors, donors, and everyone taking part this morning for enabling Inclusion Saskatchewan to continue the important work in our province. In closing, I am pleased to bring greetings on behalf of His Majesty, King Charles III, King of Canada. In the spirit of reconciliation and friendship, I would like to share these greetings in my first language, which is Woodland Cree. Nimadhuditin, kitapita matagao, at tamiskato and gichugamauchi, Charles Nisto, Kigi chugamamino, Otegi Canada. Thank you, and please enjoy this special celebration.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, for those kind and inspiring words of welcome. Now I am delighted to introduce Inclusion Saskatchewan's Executive Director, Kim Haag.
Excuse me. Thank you, Matt, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank His Honor, the Lieutenant Governor, for his inspiring greetings and for being an honorary patron of Inclusion Saskatchewan. Thanks, everyone, for being here at this Inclusion Breakfast with us. You inspire me as the Executive Director of Inclusion Saskatchewan. Some of you are here today because you know someone who experiences an intellectual disability, and that person inspires you. Or you're here because someone else you respect invited you here. If you don't yet know someone with a disability, I bet that after this breakfast, You will encounter someone, and that person will truly inspire you too. Inclusion Saskatchewan was founded 66 years ago by parents like Dr. John Dolan, who wanted a good life for his children. Today, Inclusion Saskatchewan is shaped by the thoughts and goals of people who have disabilities and serves thousands of people from birth until the end of their lives. We help people overcome barriers in all areas of life, from education to housing to healthcare. We change systems so that everyone can be included. I want you to know that you help us make inclusion real. Generous people fueled our work these past 2 years. We weathered the pandemic not only without interruption, but also by handling 23% more navigational meetings and growing our family network by 28%. We did this without as much funding from our yellow bin clothing recycling program. Thank you for donating to those yellow bins. Thank you for your generosity. Please join us in our mission to ensure that people with intellectual disabilities in Saskatchewan are valued, supported, and included, and have choices and opportunities in all aspects of life. Let's listen to self-advocates tell us why inclusion matters.
Hi, my name is Charlene, and I'm involved with Inclusion Saskatchewan, and inclusion means to me being together and having things inclusive where people can join in. The ICANN group that I'm involved in met with SaskTel in the spring, and they reached out to us and wanted to come to one of our meetings and talk to us about how to make their offices inclusive. So we met with them and gave them some good suggestions on how to do that. One example was their display cases. In their main office, they have their displays from floor to ceiling, and we suggested to get some display cases where the people could see them up front instead of having to try and reach a product off of a display case that was floor to ceiling.
Hello, my name is Dylan Morin, and inclusion means to me is an accessible transportation system. So it feels good for me to be involved in ICANN, and since the loss of STC, I've had people tell me give up, give up, give up. But I know that there are people with disabilities that need this. And that's why I'm keeping up the fight, and ICANN encourages me not to give up.
I'm Leanne, and I'm from Saskatchewan. Inclusion means that we're all equal. I realize which calls because I like to see people that aren't in Saskatchewan. They're all over the place, and I really enjoy spending time with them when we can.
You know, some great inspiring stories there. And inclusion, I mean, it is life-changing. Thanks to Dylan, Shar, and Leanne there, and all the members of our ICANN team. You know, one of the highlights of me being here every year is seeing some of these amazing stories from amazing self-advocates who share their talents with us, because there is a lot of talent out there among those who have intellectual disabilities. The ICANN program teaches leadership and self-advocacy skills through practical training. So that is a fantastic program there. Folks, we're going to take about 8 or 9 minutes, an opportunity for you to talk to some of the folks at your table, maybe, you know, pour a little coffee and enjoy some of the continental breakfast that we have for you, and get up if you need to for a few moments, and then we're going to resume our program in about 8 or 9 minutes.
Hi, I'm Shiloh Knudsen. I am a mother of 6. This is our youngest, Parker, and our oldest daughter is now 17. She has a learning disability, and she learns at about a kindergarten grade 1 level. When we first, for the first 15 years of our journey with our oldest daughter, we did not have any support from the community. We live on a farm in small town Hudson Bay, and we were having troubles with the school and inclusion, and so we were able to meet with the Family Network. And through the Family Network of Inclusion Hudson Bay, we've been put together with other families and been able to learn about their journeys and been able to find support in that. Inclusion Saskatchewan helped us help advocate for us and give us strength and empowered us to show us that what we were looking for, what we were needing, such as inclusion in the school, that we were okay. It was okay to ask about that and have that for Victoria. Since then, we have been with Inclusion Saskatchewan for going on 3 years now, and we're involved in the Family Network, and we have been so inspired and given us strength to help other families. So we started our own branch of Inclusion Saskatchewan in Hudson Bay, and 2020 was our second year of having our own summer program, and it was very successful, and it just is so wonderful to be able to bring families together and help them and encourage them in all the ways that Inclusion Saskatchewan was able to do for us. We truly believe that inclusion is very important, and Inclusion Saskatchewan was and has been a lifeline for our family.
Hi, I'm Megan. I am 22 years old and from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I am a sibling of somebody with both intellectual and physical disabilities, as well as the facilitator for the sibling workshops through Inclusion Saskatchewan. So my brother, his name is Travis, he's 31 years old and has Dravet syndrome, so he is nonverbal as well as in a wheelchair. We have made lots of awesome memories together throughout the year. I love him to death. He loves Thomas. We like to watch TV and play together. But of course, growing up with a sibling with disabilities came with a lot of extra responsibilities early on.
I'm Bailey. I'm 12. I'm from Warman, Saskatchewan. I have a little brother. His name is Aiden. He's 9 years old. He has an intellectual disability. He has Down syndrome, so it means that it takes him longer to learn things than it would take people like, say, me and Megan.
When I went to my first workshop, I was actually very scared. I did not want to go. My mom made me go because she was on the board for Inclusion Saskatchewan at the time. I did not participate in any of the talking aspects. In fact, I just listened. But after my first few workshops, I kind of got into the groove. I made some really awesome friendships, and I was finally comfortable sharing.
Just like Megan, I was really shy throughout my first few workshops, but Megan really helped me to come out of my shell and become more comfortable sharing about things like this because it's important.
So for myself, I found when I was a kid, and even to this day facilitating them, that sibling workshops are so beneficial for my mental health. It is really, really nice to meet people and be able to talk with people that can relate about the extra responsibilities that you take on really early on. It's nice to talk about the patience that you've gained, the maturity that you've gained early on because you are taking on these extra responsibilities. It's just an awesome opportunity to connect with people that you couldn't have connected with before.
Before I started the sibling workshops, I never really felt like I had a safe space to talk about things like this. But the sibling workshops made me realize that I'm not alone and I'm not the only person who's going through this. And they provide a spot a space where you can talk about things like this without being judged, and whatever you say in that room stays in that room.
I've had a really awesome journey with these workshops, actually. So when I was 10, I went to my first one, and as I said, I was really, really shy, but I'm facilitating them now, and I've come a really long ways, and I'm actually super proud of that, and I don't think I would have been able to do that without Inclusion Saskatchewan's workshops.
Sibling workshops for me now are one of the most fun things that I do. Not only does it provide a space to talk about things like this, but it's also in ways like a summer camp. Like, we do a lot of fun things. In the future, I would really hope to facilitate these workshops, maybe even alongside Megan, because I would love to help kids become more comfortable sharing about things like this, just like Megan had helped me, because it is important to talk about things like this.
In the future, I would also love for somebody like Bailey to facilitate alongside me or even take over. That would be an amazing thing to see. The sibling retreats really are an amazing opportunity to connect with people you couldn't connect with before and share in ways that you can't share elsewhere. And like Bailey said before, it's almost like a summer camp in ways, because we get to do really, really fun things. So we've been to the IMAX, we've been bowling, we've been to the science center, to hotels, and I think the best part is the friendships and connections that you make. These people are from all over.
Yeah, these workshops provide a connection that you probably wouldn't get anywhere else. And I have so many memories that I cherish that if these sibling workshops didn't exist, I probably wouldn't have. I feel like these sibling workshops have taught me that I'm not alone, and there's a space where you can talk about things like this, and I feel like they've really helped me shape the person that I am today.
I definitely agree with that. For myself, these workshops have totally taught me that no matter what you are going through, there is someone somewhere going through the same thing as you, and I think that's really important to think about, and I'm so grateful for Inclusion Saskatchewan allowing me to make those connections, and I'm so proud of who I am today, because if it weren't for Inclusion Saskatchewan and these awesome sibling workshops, I wouldn't be where I am. And that's all I have.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm from Regina, and having cerebral palsy and neuropathy hasn't stopped me from being a part of inclusion. Inclusion means to me being a big part of the community, and I definitely love meeting people, and the fact about it is that I really think inclusion brings us all together as part of the community. I was in here for how many years? For I'm going to leave. I am more active since I've been involved.
Hi, my name is Jana Lee Fu. I live in Regina. I have my own place in Regina. I've been in my own. I moved in there 2005. Tutoring means I go to the mall, make my own buses, trips, and go to the mall, go to the movie, go to the food court, and I go see my family too. and see my friends here too.
At your table, you can feel free to continue to partake of the breakfast, but we're, in the interest of time, we're gonna continue to move on. I want to give a big hand to a couple of other dignitaries that are here today. Chief Commissioner Barry Wilcox of the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission is here today, along with Minister Gord Wyant. Let's give them a hand and thank them for being here as well. Alrighty, folks, it's now my pleasure. I'd like to welcome Lucette Campbell, President of Inclusion Saskatchewan, to share with you our vision of inclusion.
Good morning. I really appreciate that you have chosen to prioritize the inclusion breakfast today. Individuals with intellectual disabilities and their families are the driving force behind all of our work at Inclusion Saskatchewan. Our vision of community is where all individuals are valued, supported, and included in all aspects of life. As dedicated and as passionate as we are, we cannot do this work alone. In fact, we're in the business of trying to eliminate the need for an organization such as ours to exist at all. So we definitely need all of you, because hopefully we will soon live in a world where our advocacy is unnecessary, because natural supports exceed the need for them. I'm here with my son, Andrew, today. He's the reason why I'm here, and the motivation I need to keep showing up at my very best every day for this organization. I spoke a bit about the medical challenges and the developmental delays that he experiences at our virtual breakfast last year, and I shared that he had aspirations of moving to this city, and that we had only just toured an example of some housing that he might one day call his own. I will let him tell his story, but your attendance today makes stories of success like his possible. With the incredible advocacy and support from Inclusion Saskatchewan, families like mine can begin to climb what seems like a very daunting mountain of possibility. These barriers stand in the way of what we know is possible for the individuals and families we support. This organization has walked with many families for more than 6 decades. It is quite an honor to address you as President of Inclusion Saskatchewan. I don't take this leadership role lightly and could do nothing without the phenomenal work of our executive director, our board, and our staff. 23,000 families experience intellectual disability in our province. Last year, about 2,500 people reached out to our organization for help. Their challenges in navigating complex situations are only the beginning. At Inclusion Saskatchewan, we support individuals, we strengthen families, and we create systemic change. Our stretch goals are to address barriers to inclusion in healthcare, education, accessible housing, and the additional challenges that people face in the North. Systemic change requires partnership. We're so grateful to our government in Ottawa for tabling Bill C-22, the Disability Benefits Act, which will create a national disabilities benefit, putting income support into the hands of adults with disabilities across Canada. This is the biggest undertaking in Canadian history to advance inclusion for people with disabilities. We're delighted that Senator Brent Cotter, who is the sponsor of the Disability Benefits Law in the Senate, is here with us this morning. Senator Cotter, we thank you for your leadership role in this important legislation, for all that you do to advance inclusion. During the last 2 years, as the need for support increased, our organization supported individuals and families virtually. During the pandemic, it became evident that there were people in need of support in making very impactful decisions around their health, for example. Information about viral spread and vaccines was very hard to understand. We responded by creating plain language documents to add clarity, and by designing medical decision-making documents to help patients who have intellectual disabilities describe their needs and their health care wishes. These documents assist medical staff in understanding and treating patients more effectively. We pride ourselves on being innovative and thinking bigger than what is already happening. We collaborate with community to push through barriers. Our partnerships are vital to our success. Affordable and inclusive housing is a great example of this innovation and collaboration. We have accomplished much, but not enough. To stretch where we need to go for inclusive healthcare, education, housing, and supports to our northern citizens, it takes boots on the ground working full-time on these initiatives. This is where you, our community, come in. We must have the resources to do our good work. Our breakfast is a pathway for you to help us stretch for these goals. I'm grateful to all the members who have already joined me in making a multi-year investment into Inclusion Saskatchewan. I volunteer time and money to this organization because I believe in inclusion. Help Inclusion Saskatchewan create a fully inclusive province. We're not there yet, but you can help make that a reality. Let's celebrate the successes this morning and hear from those we support. May they inspire you as they have me. Thank you.
So Megan was referred to me through our intake process with Inclusion Saskatchewan. You know, we of course ask questions because we are trying to determine what is best for Megan and where she would see herself. And Megan had lots of volunteer experience, but she just didn't have any experience where she was actually getting paid. So, and that was the ultimate goal, was to get her paid employment. So we got the resume fixed up, and Shelley told me that the co-op was opening in Spiritwood, and I'm like, well, right on. Like, what can we do? Like, let's get her in there, right? So I phoned him up, and I said, I have a girl who would like to work out there. I said, and he said, okay, well, send me her resume. And he said, but she gets treated just like everybody else. I said, that's all she wants. After she submitted her resume, she was contacted for an interview. And so she answered these questions, and she did, of course, brilliantly, and they hired her. And so she is a permanent part-time employee at the Spiritwood Co-op C-Store.
Well, at the co-op, I was really proud and wonderful. Well, before it was starting, I was volunteering at the lodge and new to you, and I loved doing that. But this time, the co-op hired me to work about 3 hours or 2 days.
Megan is a bubbly, happy, makes everybody laugh. She's fun to be around. Well, I've created a worksheet for her which gives step-by-step of the jobs that she has to do. And at the beginning, someone walked with Megan to do her tasks. Now Megan is so confident in doing her job that she just comes in and she grabs her clipboard and she goes about doing her daily things.
Well, I was on the co-op. I like checking shelves, cleaning the bathrooms, and brooming, and put the other things on the shelves. My favorite thing is hanging out with the terrible of my staff, and I like to talk. I like my boss because she's funny sometimes.
It's very easy to include somebody with a disability. You spend the time training anybody. You give them the means to do the job, and you help them until they're confident enough to do that job. And you just work with them along the way. So training Megan to do the job was no different than training any other of my employees to do the job.
Megan has been employed at the co-op now since December of 2021. And so it has improved her overall because she's earning a living. And, you know, that's not so much a privilege as it is a right. And her family understands that, they appreciate that, and they support that. and we thank the co-op for that.
Inclusion Saskatchewan has supported Aiden through the National Affordable Housing Corporation Partnership in working to find him that comfortable house that he can call his own place. Inclusion Saskatchewan has supported him through employment and his contributions to the supported decision-making and medical decision-making work has been huge to have him involved in all of those things.
Well, ever since I partnered up with Inclusion Saskatchewan, it actually impacted my life from my personal living situation to my skills development, anywhere to my employment. Inclusion Saskatchewan has really given me the drive to get into college. I got myself a degree in disability support worker. At the same time, Inclusion Saskatchewan did help extensively with employment since I got hired in community living, which did enhance my life and I guess add extra value and meaning to certain aspects of my life that was lacking.
The amount of growth that I've been able to witness in Aiden over the years, he's just completely, he's so confident, he's such a vibrant person, but he has a presence about him where people really listen. He really, when he's passionate about something, you listen to Aiden.
Well, to identify as self-advocate, using myself as an example, is I'm passionate about human rights, especially around individuals with disabilities, and I'm passionate about helping other people that might be in the same boat or living with similar experiences.
He's the epitome of a self-advocate. To be willing to take some of your own heartaches, your own struggles, your own experiences of not being actively included in meaningful ways in your life, and to be willing to share those things so that they can benefit others.
Inclusion means that we are all together. Our experiences all relate. A lot of the things we go through and a lot of the projects we work with and the changes we make in the system that impact the community, it does affect all of us.
He's just so kind and gracious in the way that he also just takes people under his wing. He's such a warm presence, but colorful. If I could use any word to describe Aiden, he's just colorful and vibrant and fun. You want to be around him.
Good morning. I'm Don Abrahamson. I live on an acreage 5 hours east of Saskatoon with my lovely wife and our 28-year-old son. I am here because of my family's story and what Inclusion Saskatchewan has meant to us. Our fourth child, Bjorn, arrived with a basket full of challenges. Because his mother is a nurse practitioner with a strong network, we were able to navigate the medical challenges. When the local principal said, "That kind does not belong in my school," a whole different journey began. And we met Inclusion Saskatchewan. When Bjorn stood on the stage with his grade 12 class, he had cleared a path, him and his team had cleared a path for a dozen other kids to go to school in that town, in their community. Today, he's a fine young man, but he needs somebody there for him, so I've become a stay-at-home parent. And that's the highest calling. Some days I'm a stuck-at-home parent. that's not as noble. When the current chaos began, there was much talk of isolation, not being able to go out, meet friends, shop, basically do whatever you feel like. And for a lot of people, that was a new experience. My first thought was, big whoop, my world doesn't change. But it did. Special Olympics shut down. We couldn't replace a respite worker. Our main goal of expanding Bjorn's social circle, frozen. Looking for independent living opportunities, kaput. Employment, not a dream. I had a better understanding of people feeling alone. 2 years ago, Inclusion Saskatchewan's Family Network Coordinator started hosting a virtual get-together. These Wednesday morning sessions took off and became INSK Cafe. Nearly 100 coffee breaks later, there's a core group that has built a level of trust and compassion, respect for a few rules, making sure whoever steps in feels welcomed and heard. When I spend too much time in my own head without another adult's perspective, it's easy to get frustrated and lost. Simple, normal things like spilt milk, flat tire, 7-hour wait at the ER, too much, overload. Whatever is happening in my week, I can stop in the cafe for some me time, a deeper conversation, or not, a place to laugh, cry, maybe vent, maybe listen. I can bring my whole self. And when I feel like I've been heard, when there's a shared understanding, I'm not alone. And that gives my son a better day.
Good morning. My name is Andrew Bennett, and I'm the president of Inclusion Bigger, which is a local branch of Inclusion Saskatchewan. In 2021, we applied for a project fund grant from Inclusion Saskatchewan. We thought if we were able to purchase a CNC router, that we would be able to offer more employment opportunities to the individuals in our community that we serve. We wanted to create a sustainable, inclusive workplace, paying real wages with product sales covering all of our operating expenses. We got the grant, purchased the router, and it got set up in our local school in January 2022. Around that time, we got a referral from Inclusion Saskatchewan for a potential client, a speech-language pathologist in Edmonton. Their company, Communicate, makes kits to help children learn language skills. They explained that they wanted a local supplier for some items in the kit that they had previously sourced from China. They described what they wanted, and we quickly worked up some prototype pieces for them. On May 31st, they placed an order for $25,000 worth of product, which was both exciting and terrifying at the same time. So we got to work cutting and sanding parts. And at this time, I would like to introduce you to Dalton Whiteford, one of our first workers. Dalton, why did you start working for Inclusion Bigger?
Well, after I got let go from my job at the lumberyard in Bigger, the COVID pandemic hit. I was quite depressed and I felt like I was nothing more than a lump. But when I heard about this job, I didn't want to go back to the school because I had a very hard time there. But I wanted to show my family and my friends that what I could do.
So what do you do at work, Dalton?
I sand the wooden pieces so teachers and kids don't get splinters. Sometimes I load and unload the router and start the cutting pieces.
And what do you like about working at Inclusion Bigger?
I enjoy my job. It gives me a reason to get up in the morning, something to look forward to. Every day I go to work, always puts a smile on my face. It has been nice to get to know the other workers and make some new friends. I'm not afraid to be myself there. I've always wanted to help people. I like that we are making things to help kids learn. I could have used these as I was also in OT. These pieces are made by my hands to go into the hands of kids for learning purposes. We get to show that people with disabilities can do good jobs if we can get a chance. And together we can make a difference.
Thank you.
Morning, everybody. My name is Andrew Campbell. Obviously, you don't know me, but hopefully in the next few years, that'll change. I moved here to Saskatoon because I want to become a sports broadcaster. I grew up about 4 hours northwest of here in Meadow Lake on a lame, boring cattle ranch. I'm almost 20 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've been planning this dream. I'm happy to announce that as of today, I've been successfully living on my own for 3 weeks. Yeah, so living here in the city is lots of fun, more to see and do, especially when you lose your car somewhere and you can't find it. Yeah, so that happened to me a few weeks ago, actually. There's more entertainment options here, like the Saskatoon Blades, which I will say something about that in a minute. Yeah, so driving here in the city is a little bit confusing thanks to, Google Maps, but hopefully I master that shortly. The best part about living on my own is getting to do whatever I want. I have all the space that I need. I have a good friend who is sitting right there. She lives about 5 minutes away from me. But other than that, I haven't met any other people yet. And I also like to find a good paying job somewhere until I accomplish my dream, like delivering mail or driving a delivery truck. Both of those sound interesting. I would definitely be spending a lot of time in the boy, I can't talk this morning. I'm a little at the Saskatoon Center, as I just found out yesterday that I have an internship with the Saskatoon Blades, which starts next week. And that's all thanks to Bart Hunter, the one who made that happen. So, thank you, Bart. Thank you. Yep. Yeah, so being a hockey announcer is my dream. I understand the game well. As a result of that, it's very easy for me to do, and I enjoy it. Hockey is a lot of fast-paced action. I love listening to the best voices in the league, the NBC crew, Mike Emmerich, Eddie Olczyk, Ray Ferraro, and of course Steve Goldstein, the voice of the Florida Panthers. Who knows, I might go there at some point. Yeah, in case you have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, here's a little audio clip of my success.
Face off on the glove side of Lundqvist, one by Stepan. Here's Yando in the corner. Yando up ahead for Kreider. Kreider throws it cross ice for Girardi. Girardi works his way through the neutral zone, then brings the puck in. Here's Girardi. Yando gave it away to Nelson. Here's Nash with it. Nash up ahead for Kreider. Kreider in over the blue line, up ahead for Stepan with a wrist shot, scores, and the Rangers take Game 3 by a final score of 2-1 in overtime.
Yeah, so Inclusion Saskatchewan has made life very affordable for me. They are also trying to help me find a job right now. I have my own apartment, drive my own vehicle. And with the support from Inclusion Saskatchewan, I am making my own choices and living my dream. So, that's it.
Those were such inspiring stories. Let's give all those who shared their stories, either in person or on video, let's give them a hand right now. And folks, another group that does a lot of work around inclusion. I see Police Chief Troy Cooper and members of the Saskatoon Police Service are here today. Let's give them a hand for being here as well. Now I'd like to welcome Knowlton Knipple, a member of the Board of Inclusion Saskatchewan, to explain why he volunteers and supports Inclusion Saskatchewan.
Yeah, first of all, thanks to all of you for those great stories. Those are really touch my heart. Hello, my name is Knowlton Knipple. I'm a recent addition to the Board of Directors at Inclusion Saskatchewan. I became involved in support of my 18-year-old nephew, Evan. Evan has autism. He's an old soul for his 18 years and a kind, gentle young man that always manages to see the good in everyone. I've witnessed Evan's quiet courage and dogged determination as he's navigated his way through school. Evan will graduate from school this year, and Evan plans for post-secondary education are possible with the help of the great people at Inclusion Saskatchewan. I'm inspired by the fearless community of leaders at Inclusion Saskatchewan and their decades of tireless advocacy, and the passion everyone brings each day to advocate with and for those that have so many talents and gifts to contribute, if they're simply given a chance to be included. Today you've heard the Inclusion Saskatchewan story and met some of our wonderful people. It's my privilege to ask you to make a financial investment to support our day-to-day operations. Your support today will ensure that Inclusion Saskatchewan will be there for people tomorrow. We hope you will consider making a personal contribution. Individuals with intellectual disabilities rely on Inclusion Saskatchewan for support at various times during their lives, and the number of people we serve keeps growing every year. Systemic change sometimes takes 10 years of hard work to become a reality. Our inclusion champions give us the ability to meet that growing need. Inclusion champions make multi-year pledges that help us to change lives and communities for the long term. Please consider becoming an inclusion champion. So now we have a special announcement. Would Andrew Tennant, branch manager at TD Wealth Saskatoon, please join me at the podium.
Thanks, Knowlton. Okay, so I had notes, and I'm listening to this, and of course I've just changed them all. One word subliminally was just awesome. Stories, awesome. And I think this banner had something to do with it. Awesome. If you can see this, I love the banner. And Andrew, awesome courage, awesome name, right? Awesome jersey. I really enjoy it. So just what was put on here was amazing. So just maybe a massive round of applause to the organization committee. Seeing it firsthand is truly remarkable. So they're making a difference in everything that they do as well. So on behalf of TD, I'm proud to announce and happy to announce that we're once again supporting the change-making work in Saskatchewan that Inclusion does as well with the challenge gift. So we're challenging to encourage multi-year donations. So we encourage that multi-year pledge. TD will match gifts during that event for the first payment that happens today, up to $10,000 today. So for an example, if you pledge $500 for a 3-year, TD will match that first $500. So I guess on that note, on behalf of Knowlton as well and the crew, let the challenge begin. Thanks. Thanks again.
Wow, thanks, Andrew. And TD. So now it's time to become an inclusion champion and make the most of TD's generous challenge gift. At this time, your table host will hand you an envelope containing a donation card. I will walk you through the options on the donation card, and for those joining online, please use the donation page at inclusionsk.com/breakfast. So that's inclusionsk.com/breakfast. Okay, there are many ways to make a difference. We'll start at the top left of the card. The Inclusion Champion pledge levels give you a sense of what your contribution can do. You can help us build hope by making a $1,000 donation each year. That's about $83 per month and would help us to support a family in our family network. Or you can help us inspire change by making a $5,000 contribution each year, which would support our life-saving tools for self-advocates, like the Health Passport. Or you can help us create opportunity by making a $10,000 gift per year. A gift at this level supports sustained systemic change projects, like inclusive housing. You can offer a pledge to Inclusion Saskatchewan in your own way. TD Bank, as we've heard, will match the first donation of an annual multi-year pledge of any amount made here today. Your contribution will go toward the unrestricted operating funds of Inclusion Saskatchewan. One other option on the card there is with a monthly contribution, you can join our Giving Every Month Society, or GEMS. We can accept credit cards for automated monthly payments. We recognize all of our Inclusion Champions and GEMS in our annual report and on our donor tree displayed at our Saskatoon office. One final way you can make a one-time contribution of any amount right now. For example, if you'd like to make a one-time gift of $1,000, just write in $1,000. If you are already an Inclusion Champion or GEM and wish to renew or expand your pledge, please indicate so in that next section. We are so grateful for your ongoing support. If you have any questions or ideas, such as an employee giving program, please check the Please Contact Me box and we will reach out to you. Just a reminder for guests at Prairieland today, please note that all gifts will be receipted, but for $15 less than the gift, and this is to account for the cost of food. That's a CRA regulation. So I'll give you some time now to finish filling out the cards, and when you're finished, please pass your envelopes back to your table host. Okay, I know that many of you are still writing, but I'd like your attention for just a moment. Whatever gift you have chosen to make today, we thank you on behalf of the people we serve. We truly appreciate that you took the time to be here this morning to learn more about Inclusion Saskatchewan and the power of inclusion in their lives. Your generosity and support will help us sustain and enhance the services and programs of Inclusion Saskatchewan. Now I'll turn the program back to Matt to wrap up.
I want to thank you very much, Andrew, for your TD Challenge gift today. And I want to thank everyone again for joining us this morning. And I want to thank members of our ICANN team for sharing your abilities with us. Let's give them a round of applause. Folks, we're going to wrap up, but I think it's important. Let's thank our table hosts here in our hall and our inclusion ambassadors from across the province for joining us on the live stream today. You know, without you, we could not hold an event like this. And table hosts, I want you to please take the beautiful floral centerpieces that are on the tables there, which were donated by Saskatoon Co-op Home as your gift today. And a big hand for all our table hosts and ambassadors. Once again, they are fantastic. We should take some time and thank some of our sponsors. Our champion sponsor, TD. We could not host this event without TD and all the generous sponsors. TD's challenge gift over the past 7 years has made a really, really big difference. And let's make that TD challenge count this morning by making a multi-year gift. We are grateful to Connexus Credit Union, whose Transformer sponsorship supports our work in Prince Albert and the North Central region of Saskatchewan. And in addition, we also want to thank our Change Maker sponsors. Interstate Batteries, thank you so much for giving us a boost. McDougall Golly, thank you very much for defending inclusion for all. And SaskTel, thanks for keeping us all connected and being a loyal sponsor for this event. It's so important. And Victory Majors, you know what? We're making progress because of folks like you. And thanks for lighting up River Landing in honor of inclusion this week. I think that is fantastic. And we also want to recognize our advocate and friend sponsors as well. Logos on the slide here who have underwritten the cost of this event. And thanks to Mr. Print, whose complimentary printed materials that you see on your tables today. I want to recognize our inclusion champions whose names you see listed on your table and on our slide presentation. And, you know, these generous people, they give Inclusion Saskatchewan a lot of long-term support so we can continue to be here for those who have intellectual disabilities. Let's give all our sponsors a huge hand, folks. Alrighty, you know what, if we check the time, it's about 8:25, I think 8:27, so folks, I want to thank all of you for being here with us today, the important work that Inclusion Saskatchewan does. Let's give everyone in the room one last big hand. Alrighty, folks, thanks so much for being with us, and we hope you enjoy what is maybe a bit cooler but expected to be sunny October afternoon.